Have you ever wondered about your stockinette stitches and how to stop the curling? Well, today we're going to talk about how to do double stockinette. That's where we have knit stitches on both sides of our fabric, like so. And we're going to go ahead and go over how to do that today. And as you can see, no curling and, you know, nice and stretchy fabric that we're creating here, okay? All right, if you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Amanda. I am the creator behind Purple Rose Crafts, and today we're going to talk about this double stockinette stitch. So basically we're going to learn how to create this non-rolling, beautiful fabric that's actually nice and thick because it's double. It's basically like a big tube, right, when you actually work this, and it is just such a lovely pattern. So we're going to go ahead and go over that today. All right, so this is our Caron Simply Soft in the Party yarn. It's this beautiful purple color. It's called Purple Sparkle, of course, because what else would you call this lovely sparkly purple yarn? All right, and we've also grabbed some 4.5mm knitting needles, and we're gonna go ahead and knit with those today. All right, so if you guys would like, this one is actually going to be turned into one of those twist front headbands that we love so much. That's been super popular this year, and we are going to talk about that. Now, what do you guys think of this new background? So I have a new background for all my videos. I'm loving the color of this. It's kind of more of like a light, almost a white gray color, and I love it. So I'm super excited. If you guys like it, hit that like button below, and let's go ahead and get into this video, okay? All right, so what we've done here is we've actually casted on 30 stitches across our bottom of our section here. So this is going to be super important. What we're actually going to do is we've used our twisted cast on that I like to use often. Now it's going to actually give some stretchiness to our fabric when we're actually doing it. So as you can see, it doesn't really look like a whole lot when we actually do the cast on, but the magic happens when we're actually knitting along, okay? So what we're doing here is we're going to actually knit only half of our stitches on each row. So you want to make double the number of stitches that you need. So in our case, we've casted on 30, and each section is actually only going to be, we're only going to knit 15 stitches. So there's no purls in this pattern, and it is nice and simple, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do our first knit stitch. All right, so we're gonna insert our needles, knit the first stitch. So we knit our first stitch like so, and slip it off as normal. Now our second stitch, we're not gonna knit, we're gonna bring our yarn to the front and insert it as if we're purling, but slip it off our needle, okay? So we're not gonna actually do anything with it. Bring our yarn back to the back to do more knit stitches, okay? So this is how we're gonna work this one. Back and forth, knit one, slip one as if to purl, and then bring it back to the front and knit one again. All right, so nice and easy. Every row is exactly the same. So we slip the next one, and then we're going to knit and slip. So we bring our yarn back to the front. Now, of course, I am using English style knitting at this point. I have been doing this one in continental as well, and it works just as well. So if you like continental, go ahead, bringing our yarn back to the front. We're gonna slip the next stitch. Now we can tell what stitch is which. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see where we are at. So if I put my work down right now and I came back and I tried to figure out where I'm sitting, so my yarn is at the back, which I would normally leave it at the back because we have our knit stitch next anyways. That's my first indicator. I always bring my work to the location of my next stitch when I have to put things down. That just kind of gives me a little bit of an indicator, the beginning indicator of where we're going. And then we're gonna look at the stitches. So we're looking at here is we have our knit stitch, which is the V is directly below. If we knit this one and get it out of the way, so now if I was gonna put my work down, I'd bring my yarn to the front, and you can see here, this one kind of looks like a purl. Can you see that? Where the like bump is at the bottom right here, and it kind of looks like a purl stitch. So what we're doing here is we're just gonna slip this one off and out of our way. All right, bring our yarn back to the back and continue our work. So that's kind of a quick tip about how to tell where you're at if you have to put your work down in the middle of a row. I try not to do that, of course, but it does happen. All right. So if we just knitted and purled each of the stitches across our row, what we would do is we'd end up with just a straight ribbing. This works and actually creates this lovely pattern across our fabric because we're only knitting half of the stitches, okay? So basically we're taking half of the stitches out of our way and knitting them on the next row. So now we're gonna go ahead and knit our way back. So exactly the same row as we did before. Start with this first knit stitch. What it actually does is it creates this lovely knit edge along the side. No curling, no wonkiness that we've seen sometimes if you work like back and forth in stockinette. Normally I end up with some nice knit stitches and some bumps, which I don't like, of course. And so we do like a straight edge normally when I'm doing straight stockinette, but I actually really like this. So it's loose. You can see the fabric, like it pulls apart. We can look at everything all the way around. You can lay it down any way you like, and it's beautiful. Like everything is completely knitted. Like all the stitches are knitted. If you're a beginner, you want to give this a try, honestly, go for it because it's really easy. And there's no purl stitches. So if you don't like purling, which sometimes I don't like purling sometimes. And so I really, really like this. And so we're gonna go ahead and continue this pattern along until it's about 21 inches or so long. We're at about, I don't know, 8, 10 right now. Not long enough. So we're gonna go ahead and double the length of this, and then we're gonna go ahead and sew it into one of those twist front headbands that we love so much. So I will be right back. We'll go over how to do that. So go ahead and give this video a pause and come back when you are ready to go ahead and create that twist front headband. Or if you want to just go ahead and sew the ends together, that's completely fine too. It is super nice either way. Or you can do the kind of headband where you just do a twist like that and sew the two ends together this way, and then you've got this really cool kind of twisted front. That's an option as well. So once you have a fabric, you can decide how you want to go ahead and do it. But honestly, I love the way this looks. It's super sparkly. My daughter picked this fabric, this yarn out. I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's just this beautiful purple color. Hope you guys can see that coming through on the video. It is awesome. And what we've done here is we've cast it off. What I did for the cast off row is I knit two together and then did my cast off stitch over top of it. So I was knitting the knit stitch from the front that I was looking at and the knit stitch from the back of the row. I knit those together and then I did my cast off over top of that. All right, and so that gave us this great, braided pattern across. It looks like crochet edging here at the top and, purl stitches on the back side, which is fine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and make this into our twisted front headband. Now I do have my tail here. I can weave that in either before or after. It doesn't really matter, but in order to go ahead and make this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're going to fold our fabric in half long ways. And now what we're gonna have is we're gonna allow the middle to come back apart, it's fine. And then we're gonna take our two ends. What we want is for our two ends to look like two V's, which you can see here. We've got one V here and one V here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these two ends and we're gonna put them together. So what we want to do is we want to put one of them inside the other, like so. Put the other side inside the right one. So we've got the top of one, the bottom of the other, both going on the inside. And then we're gonna wrap our fabric around the outside of both. All right, so now you can see here, we've got our right one is this one going inside. Our left one is inside coming around the bottom. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna match up all of our corners and our edges so that we can sew everything together. All right, so now we've added our darning needle. So now we're gonna go ahead and sew across all 4 layers as we did in our previous video to go ahead and sew all of this together. So we wanna catch each of the 4 rows as we're moving across. I did skip that first one, but that's just because our yarn is coming out of it. And we're gonna continue to sew across all 4 of our layers as we work our way down our fabric. And then we're gonna go ahead and weave in our ends and turn our work out. we're going to go ahead and weave in our ends and turn our work out. So let's go ahead and turn it. All right, so this is basically what it looks like when we're finished our sewing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it all the way out. So then it is finished. Now you want to make sure when you're putting your ends together that everything is flat when you start, because you want the back side to be flat, and then you want your twist to happen in the center at our seam. Okay, so there you go. That is our finished product. We're going to go ahead, of course, and weave in our ends, but there you have it. Nice twist front headband, which is oh so popular right now. And of course you can use any type of fabric that you like. I had done it in a straight stockinette stitch, but I actually really like this double stockinette better because it's nice and thick.
Thank you for joining us with Purple Rose Crafts. If you like what we did today, click the like button below, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you'll be notified of future videos. Also, in the comment section below, tell me what more you'd like to see on the channel.